There are many resources within my classroom that we use to promote literacy. One is our reading wall. We make a lot of anchor charts. This is so that students can see how to spell, review what we're talking about, and just really be engaged while the lesson is going on. You can see our chart about insects, and you can also see how to properly answer a question with using part of the question in the answer. We also have leveled readers, which we use for guided reading. We have a really great resource of those. We have a bunch of those. We also use Level Readers Teacher Resources Kit. These are arranged by theme, so the children can actually choose what they like as well as what is on their reading level. We have sight words, which is a great center that we work with. So we'll use this magnet board with our sight words. The students will sound them out, help each other, and then write a sentence using those words. We also have our word wall. This one has been cleaned off since spring break, so these are our new words. And then with each one, we also make sure that there's a visual there too, so that we can remember, and we talk about the visual before we put it up so it really can stick in their minds. Over here we have one of our fun charts. I like to make charts that help students remember just basic skill like how to write a sentence. So this one says, does your sentence have swag? Each letter stands for something that they need in their sentence. So starting with a capital letter, written neatly, a space between each word, punctuation at the end. I have my differentiated groups here, and I have them not by level but by shape so that the students don't really know or take to understanding one group is higher than the other, and I do this based off of iReady data. Speaking of iReady, we have a bunch of computers in our classroom and we use iReady almost every day. This is our timeline. We use this a lot with our anthology so that we can really see what is going on. Some of it you can see has been erased from someone walking by, but this afternoon it was good. So they can really picture things that are happening factually and understanding that these are things that actually happened in history. We have a What Stuck With You Today wall. I've just cleaned it off because it's Monday, but on Thursdays or Fridays, each student gets a sticky note. They use their swag chart to write a sentence about what interesting or new thing they've learned this week, and on Monday we review those, clean it off, and get ready for the next week. You'll see on our student spotlight our vocabulary test, which we take every Friday. I'm so proud of my students. There are so many tests on here with 100% on them. It's just really a great feeling. They try really hard. So speaking of vocabulary, we write our vocabulary here. Every day we practice, we spell out, we clap out the syllables, and then we have a movement for each word, and we also talk about them and use them in different sentences. We use literacy journals 2 to 3 times per week. This is just an example from one of my students. So they're responsible for their table of contents, and then they'll put their artifact right in there. An example would be, here's from 310 of this year. What we did here was we had a little excerpt from our story, and then we had to figure out what the words meant. So we'll have our word, our meaning, how did we find the meaning, and this was an I do, you do, we do scenario. So she actually completed this one on her own and got it correct. So that's really great. That's just an example. There are many artifacts in here. We're actually on our second journals this 9 weeks. We also have a really great center bin that we use for reading. We have one for math as well, and this is school-wide. Every teacher at our school has one. So this is for my reading centers. Basically what I do is I use my iReady data for my centers, and then I pull activities, and activities basically come from PLCs, they come from my own resources, from the literacy coach, and we just pile them up in here so we have tons and tons of resources to pull whenever we pull our small groups. For example, CVC words is something that a lot of my students were working on last 9 weeks. So we have one of my favorite activities, which is Stretchy Snake. Everything's in a baggie. It's nice and clean and cut out and laminated. It has the instructions on the front. Our vocabulary words that we use for Stretchy Snake, our CVC words, are right there in the back. And once the students have done this with me a couple times, they can actually teach other students how to do it, which is really great. Kind of a gradual release of centers. There are a lot of really fun games in here. And you can see that I do have some kindergarten level stuff, and it goes all the way up almost until 3rd grade. We have guided reading back here, and then ask and answer. So those are a little bit more difficult skills. But some of my students are doing really, really great with that and have already moved all the way up to the back. So I hope you enjoyed a little mini tour of my classroom. And these are just some of the things that we use for literacy.